Good morning, everyone. Hi, Instagram. I look like I'm a little frozen there. Am I frozen, Instagram? Yep, I look frozen on Instagram. Good morning. Good morning, Teresa. Good morning, Infinity Rain. Oh, good. Hi, Instagram. How is my IG people today? How's everyone doing? Good morning, SVH. Good morning. You're good. I'm good. Are you good? Yes, I'm good. I seem to have lost my iPad case. I have no idea where it is. So now I've been wanting to clean anyway, so I guess God took the iPad case so I could just clean my house. Mm, not my house. I've got this work desk over here, and it's been pile up. So I think God is like, you gotta do better. You're spiritual. You have to do better. So today's a good day to clean. I have a half a day today, so it all works out in the end. It's a good cool morning here in Dallas. How did you guys survive? I don't know if Dallas was in the limelight for the beta storm, but how have you guys been doing with the water that came through? Mm. Thank you, Sami. Happy birthday to my son, who is 32 years old, who I treat like a 5-year old to this day. To this day, I treat him like a 5-year old. That's right. That's what happens when a mother has a son, and that's what happens when you have an only child, or if the boy is the only boy. That child is treated like a king. Oh, yes, I'm guilty. I am guilty. But I must admit that when he got married, I relinquished control and I interfere not in his decisions or his marriage. And he doesn't even come to me for advice because he doesn't have to because he's married. So I am a really good mother in love. Oh, no, I'm really good. I'm a really good mommy and I'm a really good mother in love because I let the woman be the woman. I do not have to stay in my son's life. I can watch him grow and be a man and make decisions I'm uncomfortable with and then find out they made perfect decisions for themselves. So happy birthday to my grown ass son, and he does not need me for anything. No, which is a good thing. But if he needs me for anything, because he's my only child, my only boy, I will give him the world. I will sacrifice blood, sweat, and tears for my only boy. Legacy carries on. Enough already about my son. Happy birthday, Bryan. If anyone would like to elaborate on today's reading in any way, email me. No, wait, yeah, email or text me by going to tracybrownlive.com. I really want to throw this. Um, my Dear God journal is selling like hotcakes. So excited. My Dear God journal is having meaning and purpose in people's lives. Please continue to order the Dear God journal. Look how beautiful it is. Come on, guys. This is beautiful. Look how beautiful it is. And it was designed by my only child. I love him. Thank you for designing this, Bryan. You are very, very talented and you bring life to my vision. My vision, you brought life to. And so, with that, I am forever grateful. All right, guys. Morning purpose. I kind of like what I did before with this card. I just pulled one and a tarot card. It didn't post yesterday, so I just posted it this morning. I really liked it. And I like the disparities that came with the two cards that I pulled. So I'm going to do it again. I really enjoyed what came through yesterday. Let's see now. Morning purpose. Let's stay with the morning purpose. I was going to talk about John McCain's wife supporting Biden. Yes, she's supporting Biden. So that's really nice. And she's going to talk to a lot of suburban white women about having a president that is ethically responsible. So let's leave it right there and let's read it. Morning purpose. Oh, upside down. Morning purpose is upside down, right? And it's martyr. It's martyr, upside down. Do you guys like the purple? I know the purple's so pretty. It's upside down, and it says, oh, I could see this happening right now. It says, addicted to self-pity, right? We are in Mars in retrograde, and there's going to be a lot of arguments. There's going to be a lot of fights, right? There's going to be a lot of spoiled temper tantrums. I need to win. I need to win at all costs, right? Cynthia, did you join me on Facebook? I need to win. I need to win at all costs. It's actually the shadow side of Aries, right? Which means any conflicts can turn into huge, explosive arguments. And if you don't win the argument, and remember, both parties are going to want to win, who survives? It's kind of like having a civil war. There will be loss, but will there be bloodshed? And that's what Mars in retrograde will enact. Some really big, resentful, old stuff is going to come up. And with that being said, if you become the loser, then are you going to be not only depressed, sad, lonely, like all those feelings come up, but is it going to be a huge amount of self-pity? Because what you might say is, I take care of you. I've done this for you, and you're ungrateful. Like you could say that to me. That's what could come up. And hence all the phone calls and the text messages. This is what this person said to me after I've been a saint for you. You know what I've been telling everybody? Don't engage. Don't engage. There's no fights today, tomorrow. Do not fight with anyone. I mean anyone. Nobody at your job, your children, your wife, your husband. Don't engage. Because it's kind of a lose-lose on both sides. You win, but there will be bloodshed. And so in the end, wow, it'll be the worst feeling of your life. And that's the saddest part of an argument where people don't play well by the rules. So shadow side utilizes a combination of service and suffering for others as a means of controlling and manipulating. So somehow it's related to, I wasn't treated well, I'm the victim. Because it's upside down. So now let's look at, is anybody feeling that? Yep, I had to stop myself here. Oh, yeah. Destiny, we got to be able to go, punch a pillow. Throw a pillow. Like, go for a walk. Like, screen therapy. I have a video on screen therapy. Get it out. Just don't argue it out. Because in the end, you want to win in the end. And people just don't play well when they argue. They just don't. All right, let's see the match. Martyr, upside down. Victim, poor me. 2. Nine of Swords. A lot of stress. A lot of stress. My doctor called me yesterday, and you know how they do this, Zoom thing. And the secretary called me first, and she's like, I'm doing a blah, blah, blah. And we got onto mental health issues, and she was like, are you having any mental health issues? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, what's going on? I was like, I don't know. She's like, do you feel anxiety? I was like, yeah. And she's like, from what? And I'm like, well, there's the COVID. And 200,000 people have died. And Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she died. And now we might get an uber conservative in the White House. And then she stopped me, and then she went on to other questions, and she came back to mental health questions, but this time I was ready. And she was like, so, something about anxiety or depression. She goes, are you depressed? And I'm like, yeah. And she goes, how often you depressed in the last 2 weeks? I'm like, every day. And she's like, why? I'm like, well, we had an earthquake. And it rattled my nerves. And I think another one is coming. And this is California, right? So I was like, did you feel the earthquake? And she's trying not to answer or laugh. I was like, did you feel the earthquake? And she's like, yes, ma'am, I did. Aren't you having anxiety? And she goes, ma'am, I'm here for you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What other dumb questions do you have for me? We're all having anxiety. And then Mars is in retrograde. Some of us are depressed because you've already broken up with your partners and you don't even understand how it happened. Don't ask me dumb questions about anxiety, depression, worry. Have you been worried, she says, in the last 2 weeks? And I go, yes. And she goes, about what? And I'm like, the president is having parties with no mask. Universities are still guzzling down beer. Cornell University has figured out a way to get their COVID cases under 1%. So that's one shining bright thing in America. You could tell she was trying not to laugh. You could tell. But I wouldn't let up on her. If you're going to ask me dumb questions about my life, guess what you're going to get? Dumb motherfucking answers. We're in the middle of a pandemic, people. Why wouldn't you be stressed? Why wouldn't you? Everyone. You don't even know what you're stressed about. Some of you forgot there's a pandemic, and yet your body remembers. And so when you're stressed, you're going like trying to have a normal day's operation, but your body says, the pandemic. And you're like, look, dude, I got to get to work. But then you crash. Knight of Swords. They call it the nightmare card. I never see it that way. But it does mean despair. It means sad, sleepless nights, worry, extreme stress. Premonitions that could be upsetting. And I had a premonition. I think we're gearing up for a 7.0 in California because we are now having monthly earthquakes. Thank you, 2020. doom and gloom, mental agony, misery, cruelty, and cruelty placed upon you. Spite can give you this. Slander can give you this. Sorrow, hopelessness. That's what she said. Do you feel hopeless? Yes. There's no cure for the COVID. And the vaccine that they want us to have before Election Day is going to kill people. It was hilarious. It's the only time I could get it out. So I figured she's going to get everything that's been bothering me since March. People forget, especially bill collectors. Man, it's like people forget. We're in the middle of a pandemic. People can barely pay their rent, car notes, food for their children. Don't even look at those documentaries. I watch all the documentaries where people are getting evicted. They're worried about food. They've got food banks all over. There are food banks to be found all over the country, and yet they can't give $300 extra. They can't figure out that bill. And you're wondering, doctor secretary, why I have anxiety? I just dumped on her. Your sleep may in fact be disturbed as you struggle with vexing matter that's beyond COVID. Some of you all just have your own personal problems. Someone's spiteful behavior may be causing you pain. There's fear, guilt, doubt, and worries that are to a large extent unfounded. Remember, when this card comes up, there's probably a way to work out some of the issues that you're having. Remember that? So when they say unfounded, it doesn't mean it's not real to you. It means deal with one thing at a time. All right? Someone's like, they can keep the vaccine. Right. Right. You don't take a vaccine from a president that says you shouldn't wear a mask. Also, Joe Biden's, Meghan McCain's mother is voting for Joe Biden, which is a good thing. But I can see Meghan saying she's a Christian and a Republican, and that's where she's going to stand because her husband is looking over her shoulder. All right. The suffering you feel is the aftermath. This is the personal suffering, not the COVID that has compounded suffering. There's been prior suffering before the COVID. The suffering you feel is the aftermath of previous difficult circumstances. For others out there, sometimes this card can literally mean that there is someone suffering mentally or physically and may need your assistance. So people, check on your mothers, even if you don't like her. Check on your dads. Check on the elderly. Like, everyone is going through something. So, in the words of Ellen, who should not have her show anymore, be kind during the COVID. The COVID is like really bad. And then we get Mars in retrograde. Oh, and you want to know what else is coming? Mercury in retrograde is on top of Mars in retrograde. I don't want nobody talking to each other. Nobody talk to each other. Just survive this until November 13th. Do not talk to each other. Okay? Are we good? All right. I love you all. I have a reading. I love you. I honor your presence in my life. This is not the best morning purpose, but we have to talk about it, right? If you would like to elaborate on anything that I said, any concerns, TracyBrownLive.com. Get your Dear God journal. I love this. Get your Dear God journal. This is the first edition. And the reason why I chose the Mexican culture is because they have a really good ideology of talking with their ancestors. Okay? And I love the way other cultures invest in spirituality. Talk to your ancestors, people. If you want to get through this crisis, if you want to live through this crisis, if you want to figure out some answers that God is trying to tell you, whether you like it or not, it's two different things. Your ancestors can assist you. Speak to them. Bye, guys. Love you. Bye.